Welcome, everybody, to episode 3 of the Frivolous podcast. It is me, your host, Jacob, and I'm starting this one off a little bit differently because we had some issues after filming the third episode. I filmed the third episode in a different location because it just made more sense for both parties at the time, and it just was easier, more convenient, and I somehow lost over half of the footage, including all of the video footage. So this episode this week is going to be completely different, and I'm really sorry about that. It honestly is really frustrating for me because that episode that I recorded was really good. This episode is really great. There was a lot of like good back and forth, a lot of good conversation, and a lot of funny moments, and you guys are only going to get to see like a quarter to half of that. And I hate it because it feels unprofessional, and I don't want it to feel unprofessional, and I want this to be as professional sounding and looking as possible. And I know this episode is not going to be up to the standards that I have set for myself, so just keep that in mind when you're listening to it. Again, I'm sorry there's no video this week. It's just one of those things that is out of my control. The laptop we recorded on either glitched out or just something happened. I really couldn't tell you what happened. So I'm going to add in this beginning part to kind of explain it, and then I'll also do some kind of talking at the end, kind of talking about some of the subjects that I talk about with my guest, and then that'll be the episode. Again, I'm sorry it's not the typical episode, and I really wish it was because she was a great guest, but, you know, we're rolling with the punches. It's the only thing I can really do at this point in time, and I still hope you guys can enjoy it despite the fact that it's shorter than it normally is, and I'm hoping you guys still find some stuff from it that you enjoy, and it's not like a waste of your time. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in and clicking on this, and let's get right into the episode. You did it with such enthusiasm. I don't do it with enthusiasm.
Yeah, you gotta say it with enthusiasm. It's your
I'm
podcast.
always like, hey guys, I'm back.
You sound like mad about it. You're like, hey.
Guys, I'm back, I guess. They're forcing me to be back. I shouldn't even do an intro. This should just be the intro. A little authentic.
Wait, what is your intro was like the little song, right?
Well, the song will be in, yeah, but then I'm always like, welcome to episode 3.
Oh, yeah, then you do like the intro and you're like, oh, we talk about this podcast.
And then, yeah, I go into it. So I might not even do that. I might not even have an intro. Just have the song and then us talking. I guess I should state that this is episode 3, and Nia is one of my best friends, girlfriends, and that is how we are friends and know each other. Well, yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to get into it. If I really want to add in an intro, guess what? I'll just do it later.
Get into it,
yeah. Get into it, yeah.
Not the like Coil Ray song.
Oh, what?
The Coil Ray song, you're singing it.
Oh, Kid Leroy?
No, Coil Ray.
What?
Wait, am I saying it right?
You mean the Kid Leroy?
No. She sings like the...
Oh, you're talking about a girl?
Then get into it, yeah.
Okay,
No, wait, that's Doja Cat. Okay, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I know the song, but I don't know who Coy Leroy.
No, okay, never mind.
You know who the Kid Leroy is, though, right? He sings "Stay" with Justin Bieber.
Yeah, he looks disturbing.
He looks disturbing?
Yeah, he looks like a child. Is he not?
I don't know how old the Kid Leroy is.
Why is he called Kid Leroy then if he's not a child?
I don't know. I don't know why.
I'll introduce myself.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Nia Alvarado, not to be mistaken with avocado. Chicken's driving so hard.
Nah, that was a great intro.
Oh, I remember we went to, before my name was like Alvarado, we went to not like high school. I was in elementary school. She was like in high school. There was a girl at Livingston. Her last name was Alvarado. I don't remember her first name, but I remember she like shared one time that she didn't like when people like called her avocado. And I was like, well, it does sound like avocado. But then, like, when my last name changed to Alvarado and then people started calling me avocado, it was, like, kind of annoying.
You found it annoying?
It's, like, it's not, like, a big deal. I'm not like, oh, that person's, like, the worst for calling me Nia Avocado. But, you know.
I mean, You sound like you're holding a little bit against me there.
I'm not. I'm just like, okay, I get the joke. Like, you don't have to keep saying it. Like, people would be like, hi, Nia Avocado. And I'm like,
I would imagine that would get annoying because you're just like, dude, not original. I've heard it a million
yeah,
times.
I know. Like, okay. Did you, like, want me to put a tally down for every
like,
time someone says it?
Am I supposed to laugh the 47th time that I've heard it today? That's funny. Okay, well, I guess you're just going to do everything for me, I guess. Do you want to just read your own questions and answer them?
Okay,
no, I'm
sure.
just kidding.
So
the first one is, it's about your college experience, like, so far. Because all I really know about it is that you're a STEM major.
Of course, the best major. So college so far, I've been in college for like 4 years now.
Okay.
This is not my last year.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I have actually, never mind. Scratch, I have 3 more years left.
3 more years?
It sounds like a lot, but I chose that. So I've known for a long time that I was going to be in school for a long time. So I started off in computer science and electrical engineering, but I knew nothing about engineering. I hated math. I hated science growing up. I just thought they were for, coming from like a private school, we had to like go to a public school because my brothers needed extra help.
Okay.
They're fine with me saying that.
Okay. I mean,
they needed extra help.
I got it if you want me to. We'll talk about it later.
But yeah, so we had to go to a public school, and I thought public schools were like for the devil. I thought everybody there was like gonna be like on drugs or something. I don't know. I just had like a really bad perception of what public school was gonna be like. And so when we started learning about science, I was like, they're gonna make us learn evolution. And then I would go to like science class, and I'd be telling everybody, I'm not even kidding when I say this. I wish it was still here. I brought this Bible. This is really embarrassing. About
you don't even have to share this.
No, it's not. I'm like fine being embarrassed. It's kind of funny.
Okay.
I brought this Bible when we were gonna learn evolution, and I was teaching my friends. about
creation.
How evolution wasn't real. I was like always cringy. I swear, I was cringy.
Can I interrupt with a question real quick?
Yeah.
What the hell does this have to do with your college life?
I don't know, actually.
Like,
oh wait, no, this does have something to do
okay,
this does have something
it all traces back. My
I
bad.
was talking about how
My
I didn't
bad.
like science. I just like forgot what I was talking about.
It's okay,
How
me too.
How I didn't like science.
What a
and
start to
stuff.
this episode.
It was like not till like my senior year where I did like a project on artificial intelligence against it, because some girl, like, I felt like she challenged me. She did one for it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do one against it. But then I ended up being for it, and I started off college as in being really interested in like politics, and so I wanted to be a politician, and I did everything to like prepare for it. I joined like a bunch of clubs, was always like studying like random things I'd do with politics. Then I decided it was like dumb and I hated it, so I quit, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do computer science, I'm gonna do artificial intelligence. So that's what I did. That's what I still do. But I always known that I wanted to apply it to like aerospace, and so I was gonna go to school for aerospace, but it's like expensive and far. But mechanical engineers can do the same things and get the same jobs, pretty much like very similarly. So I decided to do mechanical engineering, and I hope to get my master's in that, which is why I'll be in school for 3 more years, because that will be including finishing bachelor's, computer science, and then I have a minor in aerospace and math. But math comes with the minor in math comes with
seems like
the mechanical engineering major, so it's kind of not like, oh, I did an extra like math major or minor.
Okay. Oh, well, you answered actually 2 of my questions in one question, so thank you.
Did it have to do with the evolution thing?
No. Surprisingly, yeah, that wasn't on my list.
Oh,
it was. I was going to, and I was like, I don't think she has a story about it. But you actually did, surprisingly.
I did.
No, I was gonna ask you about what made you choose your major, but you gave the 12-page thesis on it, so that was very good.
You're welcome.
That was very detailed. I'm very impressed. No, I was gonna ask, so like, as a double major, or is that what double major? Is that what you would call it?
Sure, yeah. Because I do like them separately. I do like computer science. I'll be done with computer science this term.
Okay.
And then mechanical engineering is only going to take me 2 more years. So one of them is technically an associate's, but I'm going to end up finishing it as a bachelor's just because I can. So I'll eventually have 2, but that's not until I graduate with my master's, which is kind of backwards, but that's like another 12-page thesis.
Yeah,
that would take me a long time.
I'm so confused, but somebody listening is like, oh, that makes sense. I did that. I'm like, all right. I just have
Usually everybody's confused. They're like, so what do you do? And I was like, I do engineering. And then they asked like, oh, what kind? I'm like, I don't really want to tell you.
Yeah, I just have a psychology degree, so I took the easy way out. But
whatever. Psychologists are important.
That's true. That's very true. But there's one topic. Well, there's actually multiple topics I do want to talk to you about. But there's one that I thought of before I messaged your boyfriend and asked for some suggestions. But there's one in particular that I know that you watched this show, and I watched this show, and I want to talk to you about it, and I wanted to get your opinions on the show. It's Supernatural.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be Rick and Morty.
No, I mean I love Rick and Morty. We could talk Rick and Morty too, but
strong opinion. Ready?
Okay.
Who's better looking? 1, 2, 3.
Dean. We're both team Dean.
Yeah.
We're both team
We
Dean.
had this conversation before.
Here's the thing.
But Dean is like an obvious pick.
I think first of all, both very attractive. I think if we're saying that they're not, we're just lying to ourselves. But second thing is, I just long hair for me is not my thing. Like I don't. Like,
not your preferred man.
Here's the thing. When I see Dean, I'm like, dude, that's the man I want to look like. When I see Sam, which I'm like, that's a very good looking guy, but I can't pull off the long hair like he does.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I associate myself with liking Dean more. I'm like, I want to look like that. Does that make sense?
I mean, I guess we think of it differently.
Oh, yeah.
Since you'd prefer to like look like him, and I was like, obviously, I don't want to look like a man.
Yeah, I don't think you'd want to look like him.
But Sam to me is just like, okay, character-wise, I still like Dean better.
Okay.
He, to me, I don't know. Like, he's very, like, loving and caring. I mean, he can be, like, dumb at times, but Sam, I don't know, he kind of bothers me. I know, like, he just does, like, weird things where, like, I guess not a spoiler.
You can say, I mean, the show has been on for 15 years.
Yeah, the show's
been on for 15 years.
Exactly, that's why it's not a spoiler.
There's literally 15 seasons of this show. It ended like 2 years ago. If somebody hasn't seen it by now, they just don't want to see it.
Well, like the part where like every episode, you know, it's like something's like, oh, the Leviathans are out, or like the devil's out.
There's always something.
Every time he like does something so weird, and I'm like, you just ruined everything. Now we just gotta start this whole process over again, like.
Yeah, no, that actually makes sense. Yeah, I think that's because Sam is a little more whiny.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah, he's whiny.
He's just like, Dean, sir, but like Dean. It's like, hey man,
Dean, just
relax.
let me go. Just let me go. I'm like, you know he's gonna save you. Just shut up. He's like,
Dean, I didn't even want to be part of this. Okay, and it's like, well, you're part of it now.
Yeah, I was like, he's not gonna stop.
You're in pretty deep. You've been to like hell and back, so I don't know what you want from me.
Exactly, like literally.
I'm sorry if you haven't seen Supernatural. Anybody listening, they're gonna be like, I don't even know what they're talking about. But like, there's 15 seasons of it. You could watch at least 2 of them, and you'd understand because they're. If you watch 2 seasons of it, you've seen the whole show.
No, I wouldn't say you've seen the whole show. Okay, I wouldn't say that.
Well, why is there 15 seasons? Like, this isn't. Oh, first of all, you can say the same thing about Grey's Anatomy, but I won't talk about that because I've never seen the
Grey's
show.
Anatomy.
Oh, okay, twins.
Okay, I've never seen it.
Yeah, but it's like we don't need 15 seasons of any show. I love Supernatural, but 15 seasons.
Wait, have you watched all 15?
No, I stopped on 13 or something like that.
I'm on 13
because I caught up. This was back before 14 and 15 were on Netflix, and then I just had never watched 14, and then obviously 15 came out and came on Netflix, and I just haven't watched it yet, and I don't know when I will. I love the show, but I'm just like, man, like 15 seasons, y'all, like 40-minute episodes. Like,
I don't know.
How do you write original content at that
I
point?
feel like I would like that because like when the show ends, let me think of a show. Have you ever seen the show? It's like on Hulu. It's called Castle Rock.
No.
Oh my gosh, you need to see it. It's my favorite, one of my favorite shows. I have so many favorite shows.
What is the genre?
Like horror.
Oh, okay. That's not what I was expecting from that name, but okay.
It's like Stephen King.
Okay.
I think it's like based on a book he writes or
probably. My man's right.
Is he still alive? I don't know.
Yes,
maybe
he's still
he
alive.
wrote it.
He was in the second It movie. Yeah, he was in the one that came out in 2020.
I didn't see the second one because I didn't like the first one. I'm sorry.
That really hurt me.
Worst movie ever.
No shot. That's the worst movie ever. No.
Okay, back to Supernatural. But I feel like I would like that it's that long because I really like when shows just like keep going on. I know it's repetitive. I don't know, but I really like that.
Yeah, but we're so easily entertained that's just like I know what's gonna happen here, but I still want to watch it.
But you don't know.
But then you don't know exactly. There's always like little twists and little details.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think of that.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's always a little bit of something. That's why I like don't mind spoiler alerts when like somebody's like, "Oh, this is gonna happen." I'm like, "Okay, well, you don't
know
you
how
didn't tell
it
me
leads up
every
to that."
little minute detail." So it's fine with me. I don't care.
I just can't imagine. I mean, that's 15 years. I mean, think about 15 years ago. I was 9.
They don't even look that old.
Think about it. I don't look that old.
No, like
So you
they, the same D, not you.
I was like, yo, what? No, I mean, I don't even know how old they probably were. Like early 20s when that came out. I would guess that
late 30s.
I would guess that Jensen Ackles, who plays Dean, is like 43 right now, 44.
That's
around there.
Guess.
And then I think Jared Padalecki is probably like, I think he's probably like 40.
Not gonna lie, this whole time I've been sitting here trying to remember what Jensen Ackles' name was. I followed him on Instagram like last week because I was like showing.
I follow both of them on Instagram.
My boyfriend Josh. I was like, Josh, look, I found his Instagram.
Yeah, because it was a secret. You know, on one of the biggest shows, he's a huge actor. Oh, I found this Instagram. It's a little.
No, it wasn't a secret.
It's an indie. It
just like happened to pop up, and I was like, oh my god. It's Dean. I forgot like people like have Instagram.
I forgot that he was a real person and not a character. That is kind of weird. No, that's I don't think that's talked about enough. When you watch a show for a long time and then you follow that person or like one of the main actors on a social media, and it's like, man, I forget that you're a real person and you're not your character. Like when I started following like him, like Jensen Ackles, I was like, man, like you don't like you look like Dean, but you don't at the same time. Like his hair's different now too. So I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah.
I expect you to, and he doesn't dress like Dean, obviously, because Dean they all wear like the same clothes.
It's even weirder for Sam, whatever his name is.
Jared Padalecki.
Because he's married to one of the characters from Supernatural.
Who, like, literally backstabbed him, in the show,
So it's even weirder to see them together because you're like, that's not right.
Is this a reunion?
Yeah.
No, that's so weird, That was a good Supernatural. I brought out Supernatural up with Eric, and he was like, "Yeah, I haven't seen it." And I was like, "Well, that's disappointing."
Well, start watching.
Start watching. Yeah, I do recommend it. If you have like 4 years to like waste, watch Supernatural from start to finish.
I always take breaks. I'm like,
you have to.
I watch it, and then I'm like, oh, I forgot Supernatural exists.
Also, I feel like character not talk. We're just gonna have this is gonna be the Supernatural episode because I want to talk about this character. Castiel's not talked about enough.
Oh, wait,
I love Castiel.
Do you love Castiel?
I love Castiel.
Who was it? Someone told me they did not like Castiel. They're like, he's so annoying. He always messes up. I'm like, I love him. I'm sad every time I think he's gonna die. I'm like devastated.
He's doing his best.
Yeah, he's doing his best. He like means well every single time.
Have you heard the actual actor's voice though? Like that, because that's not his real voice.
What's his name?
Misha Collins.
Misha Collins.
Yeah. So his voice in the show, he's like Dean.
Yeah.
You know, he's like that. But in real life, his voice is like mine. I mean,
his voice. Yeah, he plays in like another movie.
It's just so funny. I'm like, so that dude's throat probably hurts so much at the end of a shoot that he's like, I was talking like this all day, and then you know what I mean? That would hurt. Yeah,
but he's so good. I think his character is so important. And I hate when people say he's annoying. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of the point.
Every character in that show is annoying at times. Yeah. Even my boy Dean. He gets annoying. Every character gets annoying at times.
Never Dean.
Never Dean. You can't ever be Dean. Okay, I think so. I don't even know how long we talked about that, but I think what we're about to talk about is going to be like the main thing we talk about on this episode, and it's horror movies.
Horror movies. Oh, okay.
Because I don't know a lot. Like I don't know. We talked about it a little bit with Eric, and obviously, but he doesn't watch them as much as you or I. Yeah. And they're not his favorite genre like they're yours and mine. So I want to talk to you about horror movies. This is a good question that I wanted to think about for myself too. What in your opinion makes a horror movie good?
That's a really good question.
Thank you.
Because everybody always complains that you never think a horror movie is good. So I guess like a horror movie to me, what makes it good is when it's suspenseful, in all the right ways. So I think you talked about this like last podcast a little bit, about how, you know, you're like tired of like all these jump scares, and I really hate jump scares. I'm a big chicken, even though I love horror movies. But when something keeps popping out of me, I don't want to watch it. I'm just like this the whole time. Yeah. Like somebody tell me when it's not gonna jump out, or like when it's past, so I don't like get worried. And then the whole time I'm just like anxiety ridden. I'm just like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Like, but I guess like an example of like something that does it well is, have you ever seen The Crazies?
Yes, I have.
Oh my gosh, that movie is so good. And they have like jump scares and stuff in there, but it's done so well, in my opinion, that it doesn't even bother me. But like movies like The Conjuring, The Nun, and you know, like whole like, I don't even know what series.
Yeah, that is a series. Yeah.
Those just bother me. Like they just make it so bad. Annabelle, I don't think I like any of those. The Conjuring.
I haven't seen Annabelle. The only one I've seen is the first Conjuring.
Oh really?
Yeah. I liked the first Conjuring, but that was like one of the first horror movies I saw, actually.
That was actually like one of my big... Actually, I used to watch horror movies like all the time when I was younger, but that one made me stop watching horror movies. Because when it first came out, I went and saw it in theaters, and I was like shaken for years.
Oh, it scared you?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, for 3 years, I did not watch horror movies. I could not sleep with my feet outside of the blanket. I'm not even joking. This is serious. I couldn't sleep with the TV off. Nothing.
Okay, but you've heard of what's that movie, The Ring, where the girl crawls through the TV and you kept your TV on?
You're right.
That doesn't make sense.
Okay, I don't know why that's not scary to me. I used to watch like all I've ever watched since I was younger is like horror. I love like Goosebumps, R.L. Stine, like the show. I used to read horror books, like everything. My parents, I don't know why, but I used to watch Chucky since I was like like really little, and I think that's kind of what started my love for horror movies, even though it's like not scary. Now I watch it and I'm like, oh, this is so stupid. But I watched like Paranormal Activity, Sinister. I actually love Sinister.
I haven't seen the Sinisters, but I read somewhere, this is a while ago I read this, like this was years ago, that I think is Sinister 2 is like, they did like a study, and it's actually like scientifically speaking at the time, and I don't know how they even did the study, but it's like the scariest movie.
Really?
Supposedly. Yeah,
those are really good. I just like how like they all connect and they have like an eeriness to them, instead of, you know, a whole plot that's based on something where they're just gonna like keep throwing surprises at you. I mean, it's obviously surprising,
like dumb twists that like, all right, this wouldn't make sense. Yeah, that's that. Oh, I agree so much. Here's the thing with horror movies, they try so hard to just scare you that they don't focus on the actual story. They're just like, let's just throw 26 jump scares at them in an hour and a half, and it's like, dude, I don't want to be jump scared 26. I don't want to be jump scared at all. I'm the same as you. I'm the same as you. I watch, you know, with my hands covering my eyes. Yeah. Like I play horror video games too, and I do the same thing. I'm like going through a door, and I'm like one eye's open. I'm like leaning back. The headset's off. Like the volume's on.
Yes.
I'm like, I got my eye. So if it jump scares me, I can't hear it. It's so bad. But I think like they're just like, all right, jump scare. I'm like, I don't need to see this. Like I think the suspense of thinking there's a jump scare is way better than the actual jump
exactly.
scare.
The whole time I'm just
if I'm sitting there thinking there's gonna be a jump scare, like, and I'm sitting there thinking that for an hour and a half, and then you throw one at me like once or twice, oh, that's even worse.
Yeah.
And that's what gets me. I don't get how people are like, I love being scared. I'm like, no, you don't.
It's not even like that. It's necessarily scary. It's just like surprising.
Yeah,
I'm not scared. The movie's not scary.
Well, you know that it's not the actual thing jumping out; it's the sound that scares you. Yeah, that's like again scientifically proven. Somebody's probably gonna call and be like, actually there's probably gonna be some study that came out literally 3 days ago, and they're like, well, actually, this new study. I'm like, well, sorry, I didn't catch up on that. You said that about the good horror movies. What like is a good horror movie to you?
I really like something that true stories are so hard.
Oh, I can't.
Because you know that they're gonna, I guess, like Hollywoodize it.
Oh yeah.
So it's not gonna be like close to the original.
Well, they say based on a true story, and then it's like the only thing that's true is like the location.
The location and the people's names.
Like this thing actually happened in Kansas. Like, no, something somewhat similar happened. Somebody died in Kansas one time, and they're like, let's make it paranormal.
Yeah.
Let's make them haunt everybody. It's like, I don't think that's how it works.
One of my favorite horror movies, which seems like realistic to me, I guess like something that really stands out to me in a horror movie is like, can it be realistic?
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Because I know we talked about this like at dinner a little bit, but like paranormal activity has been something that's like huge in my family ever since I was little. Like they have stories that go back and back. So I'm thinking like, could this really happen? But there's a movie, I believe it's Spanish. It's called Veronica. I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't seen it.
You need to see it. It's so good. But it's based on a true story. And I did some research on it just because I wanted to like learn more about like if it was close. And I guess it was English. I guess it ended up being like pretty close, even though, you know, they throw in some like extra details and like some pictures that like didn't happen. But to me, it seemed like it was something that like realistically could happen because she like, well, I don't want to tell you what happens if you're gonna watch it, which I think you should.
I'll try to watch it. Yeah, if I can find it.
But something that really stands out is the fact that it could realistically happen. Like, it's something that, I guess I'll just, like, say it's based on, like, she contacts somebody through a Ouija board, that spirit follows her and just kind of, you know, tears everything apart.
Yeah.
And so, to me, that, you know, that's pretty accurate to most people's experience from, like, what I've heard, just from, like, stories and stuff I've listened to and, like, events I've heard of. That those things do happen, and that's very realistic, that something could follow you, or if you like don't end it correctly, that spirit is gonna stay with you, and it can be hard to get rid of, and then you get like a poltergeist, so you open up like a portal and stuff like that. So I like that in horror stories, like really paranormal stuff, but not to the point where, you know, the whole poltergeist is like lifting up your house, because that's not gonna happen.
That makes sense. I think, like, I mean, I think that's why people like the ones with like killers and stuff, because like, oh, a killer could actually be on the loose in this summer camp or whatever, even though you know, like, well, that's just the typical one, but yeah, I think that's with me too. Like, I don't love watching like the demonic ones, because it's like, not that like it couldn't happen, but I'm like, I don't know what extent this could actually happen. Like, and I hope I never find out.
No, like, you don't want to find out.
I'm like I'll believe you that it could be, that it's realistic. I'll believe you. Okay, I'll take your word for it. You don't got to show me or anything. Okay. But like if it's like a killer, I mean, not like Jason or Leatherface or, you know, Freddy or anything like that. Like
a real serial killer.
Yeah, like a real, like I can't even think of like a movie with like a real killer.
Richard Ramirez.
Is it Ramirez's last name? The Night Stalker. That's what I was gonna say. Nightcrawler. That's a great movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. Not the point. Night Stalker. I was just thinking about him today. Actually, as weird as that sounds so weird. I was thinking about the Night Stalker today, serial killer. You know, no, but like,
I named one of my cactuses after him. He's upstairs. Richard.
Is it? That's well. Actually, I had a second question. That's somewhat similar to this. Like, what? Because I was gonna ask you about true crime. What's your favorite? "Quote unquote" favorite, because we don't condone.
What's your favorite crime?
We do not condone. Yeah, I love arson. Like, no, we don't condone serial killers. But which one, or not favorite? Which one do you find the most interesting? Like a true crime. This is not movie. I mean, I guess they could have made a movie about it, but I mean, there's a lot of good options. I can go first if you want me to.
Yeah, you go first, because I have one in mind.
Mine is the Zodiac Killer, because his is. Or her, we don't know, but the Zodiac Killer is it's so weird how it's 2022 and we have no idea who the heck it was. And then there was that report that came out, like, I think it was like a year ago, that they thought somebody was like, oh, we know who it is, but like,
yeah, I saw that. I read that,
and then it turned out to be like not really true or whatever, which really sucked. But it's just so weird to me that like all these serial killers you think of, like with John Wayne Gacy or Ted Bundy or Richard Ramirez, any one of those. I mean, I'm not naming a ton, but any one of those is like, all right, go down the Rolodex. Yeah, like we know. All right, we obviously know who they are, but it's like Zodiac Killer. Like we never know. Obviously, I think he'd be dead now because it was a while ago. But like, it's just weird to think like he could have just been alive 20 years ago, just chilling, be like, ha, I killed all those people and got away with it. And that movie, by the way, Zodiac movie is so good. Have you seen the Zodiac movie?
I think I have.
Yeah, it's got Jake Gyllenhaal. Oh my gosh.
Wait.
Second Jake Gyllenhaal reference.
Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah.
No, I'm not seeing it.
Oh, it's so good. You got to see it. And in the movie, it's obviously loosely based off of what happened in real life, but the movie, like, the prime suspect, and I don't remember the guy's name that was the prime suspect, but he ended up dying or something like that. Like, he had a heart attack or some health issue, and then, like, all, like, the suspicious activity stopped. So my guess, and this is probably what most people's guess is either that guy actually was a Zodiac killer, which is the easy, like, that's probably what people want to believe, or the Zodiac killer knew that guy was suspicious, was using that as, like, leverage and, like, was playing that card, and then as soon as that guy died, he was like, I'm done. This is my get out of jail free card type of thing.
I mean, I really don't know. It's crazy to me that, I guess, back then they didn't have the same technology we had, but
you would think they'd have some evidence from there that they could, like, test now, but I guess if they don't have that guy in the database, because I mean it was so long ago, it's just so weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah, and I've seen, like, I follow this one thing. It's called, like, Interesting Engineering. It's like a news site. They've been coming out with a lot of cool technologies that can go back through, like, the old databases, and that I've heard that they've been solving, like, a lot of crimes like this, like old murder. They're putting them in this, like, DNA system, and it goes through all the way back and, like, connects through your family or whoever's DNA is in the system and can, like, connect all the way back to you. I don't know how they do it, but it's so fascinating to me.
That's so weird.
And it's cool. It's not cool if, like, you did the crime, I guess, but it's cool if, you know, your family's been murdered and you, like, always wondered, like, if your dad was murdered and you always wondered, like, who killed him, and then they end up finding out, and usually the person's dead, though.
Yeah,
and
so
then,
it's
like bittersweet. You know who it is, but, like, they're dead, so nothing you can do about it.
I guess there's just, like, that peace in knowing, maybe. I don't know. I've never had a family member murdered, so knock on wood.
Have I? I don't know. Like, I don't think so.
But that's funny. Yeah, so did you have one in mind that you find the most interesting?
I can't think of the name, but there's this case where I heard that. What is it? Oh, so they had. I can't think of, like, any specific details, so I'm not gonna share the one. But it's basically, like, they find a bunch of, like, dead, buried bodies to, like, the side of, like, a house, and there's, like, hundreds of them.
Oh, Dexter.
No, not like, no, it's not like that's yeah, but I know Dexter. They have a case. It's not like the one I've seen that episode.
The Bay Harbor
Josh
Butcher.
Watches that.
The Bay Harbor Butcher. No, sorry, I interrupted you. I just had to make the joke.
Yeah, I know, it's like Dexter.
That sounds like
it was also like a crime podcast. Her name's like Bella Fiore. I don't know if you watch her.
Guy Fieri?
Not Guy Fieri. Bella Fiore. She's from, like,
podcast.
Australia, but she did, like, a thing on a case where they ended up finding, like, a bunch of the bodies, and it was, like, never tracked back to anybody because the house was, like, left. I guess, like, cases in general like that where they find, like, mass graves, and then they have, like, no connection to who did them, and they never find, like, that. To me, like, how does that happen?
That's insane. Like, I've never heard of. How have I never heard of that? No, I've never heard of that before. There's just a house that was abandoned, and there's, like, tons of dead bodies.
Yeah, like, people were.
Is it that easy to get away with?
Like, digging up the land, and then they ended
We're
up
about to go
finding,
inspire,
like,
like 70
body.
serial killers. Hey, don't murder people.
I watched, like, I don't know if it was, like, from the U.S. or first from Australia, because she's from Australia, but she does, like, cases like all over, like, the U.S., Australia.
It could be a
countries like close to her, or, like, that she's, like, been to. I don't know why she doesn't do all countries, but I guess things like that, to me, like, how people get away with killing so many people, and then it, like, really makes you wonder who's a serial killer. To me, a big thing is people, like, are never who you think they are.
No.
It's like you hear about, like, all these things and, like, statistics, like, X amount of men are, like, pedophiles, and or the statistics that come from, like, the Bible Belt. Have you ever heard of those?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Like, they're, like, the top gay porn watchers. And, you know, like, it's the Bible Belt, so
I
like,
totally get what you're saying.
You know, like, weird statistics where you're like, what?
So out of left field. No, yeah, I get what you mean.
So it's, like, always makes me wonder, like,
how is that?
Like, every time someone talks to me, I'm like, are you a pedophile?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, Ted Bundy was, like, he was charismatic. Like, he was, like, a womanizer.
Exactly like that.
Let me say this. I don't think Ted Bundy was that good looking. He was weird looking.
No, I think
Zac Efron playing Ted Bundy, very attractive. But Ted Bundy himself, I was like, what are we doing, ladies?
Yeah.
He must have
like,
been. He must have been such a smooth talker,
Yeah.
which you can see it in interviews stuff. He definitely was. But I was just like I'm looking at him. They're like, yeah, he's a good looking dude. I was like, was he?
No. Are you?
I was like, I can acknowledge when
somebody.
I can acknowledge when a man is good looking. We just spent 10 minutes talking about Dean and Sam Winchester being good looking, But Ted Bundy's not. I didn't feel that vibe from him. So he just looked creepy. He always looked like a deer in headlights. Every picture of him, he looks like an owl. His eyes are always so wide, and he's like looking directly at the lens all the time. I'm like, what are we doing here?
I know. Every time they say like, "Oh, this killer was very attractive. That's how he lured women," I'm like, him? I'd be like,
I guess that was attractive back then.
Get away from me.
Guess.
I don't know. Maybe different.
Anybody
times.
alive in the Ted Bundy era? Leave a comment down below. Was he attractive for the time? I don't even. When was that? 70s?
I don't know.
We're talking about it.
I don't know
know.
dates.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't the only one because every time they mention it, I'm just like, this isn't the same guy we're talking about.
And that was like such a big factor.
And that's how he got so many women. Yeah. Well, they say the same thing about Jeffrey Dahmer. Like he got so many, like, because obviously he was gay. He got so many. He got so many men, and I'm just like, but like, I mean, like you're like not that. I'm like, you're not that good looking of a dude. Like I don't get like, but I mean, I guess if you're just a smooth talker and you're fun to be around, which I mean. They weren't fun to be around for long, but
yeah, they're fun for like I don't know, an hour until you're dead. Maybe less than an hour. I don't even know.
Well, there's this one podcast. I don't remember the name of it, but there's a podcast I listen to, and it's like it's a big podcast, not like it's like mine, but
what's it called?
Just silver. I don't remember. But he would always say he's like there's somebody that's listening to this right now that's probably killed somebody. And I was like, that's so weird to think about.
And
it's like such a like a mundane thing listening to a podcast. Like, and like I'm listening to that same podcast, and somebody that murdered somebody is probably listening to the same podcast.
Did you ever learn in school? What class was that? It was like biology or something. They're like, X amount of people are murdered. Like 1 in 100 people, not like 100 people. That's just like I don't even know what. An example, 1 in 100 people are like serial killers, or like murderers.
It's that common?
No, I'm saying it's just like a number I just picked. It's like, like 1 in blah, blah, blah is like a murder. And I'm like, that's scary. And then it keeps going up. Like every year when they come out the statistics, they see it. And they're like, this is how many people are reported with like mania or whatever, like killer tendencies.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sound so stupid for asking this question. What's the one that serial killers have? Not psychosis. No, it's not a sociopath. Psychopath! They're psychopath. When you're a psychopath.
It was that easy? You said psychosis, and I was like, I was going away from the word psycho. Okay. So when they're psychopath.
Yes, when they're psychopathic or even
what makes them?
Yeah, like more people that are becoming. More people are being.
It's because the world's worse now than it was. It was because the world's worse now than it was in the set. That's probably a debatable thing to say, but mental health wise, it's way worse now than it was in the 70s, and I think that's why. And we also, I mean, I shouldn't say we because we obviously don't do it, but my people, as in like the psychology people, not white people, but psychologists and everybody, they love to overanalyze and then medicate. So there a lot. This isn't everybody. This is generalizing, but some psychologists, or counselors, or therapists, their solution for everything is just to throw pills and medicine at it and just hope that works. And that can 100% make things worse a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And it usually does. And then if they can get addicted to the pills, or if they go off the pills, they could get withdrawals from the pills, and then they become even worse and worse and worse. So. And that is where it cuts off. I know it's like right as we were getting into really good conversations and really like getting into the nitty gritty of everything, it breaks off, and it's pretty frustrating. We went on to we still talked about horror movies and stuff. We also talked about food. We also talked about like some psychological things. She asked me about the psychological, the mind of a serial killer and stuff. And there was some really good conversations and really good topics. And I'm not going to go into it too much because I do want to bring her back on and talk to her more, and I think I'm gonna have her as a Halloween guest for sure because she loves horror movies and things of that nature just as much, if not more, than I do. She did a great job. I really want to say thank you to Nia for coming on this episode, and I'm sorry that your episode is not what it should be because of the technical difficulties that we've had, but it's still a great episode. Like everything that happened is to no fault of your own. You made it great, so thank you for that. There is something I want to talk about. So she talked about the when I asked her like her not favorite but the serial killer that she finds most interesting. She couldn't really come up with an answer, And so she just said that story about, when they find mass graves underneath a house. That was like one she listed as an example. So I started to do some research because I wanted to see if I could find the specific case she was talking about, and I couldn't. I surprisingly could not find the specific case she was talking about. I even messaged her and I sent her a link, and I was like, "Hey, is this it?" And she was like, "No." But isn't it kind of crazy that I couldn't find that specific link to a story like that, a story with mass graves underneath the house? Because there were multiple stories like that. It actually blew my mind. There's a story about finding a mass grave underneath the Rhode Island highway because they were buried there from like a former mental institution. I have one in front of me right now. There's 17 bodies pulled from a mass grave in Mexico, and they think it's from drug traffickers, but they don't know. And there's just stuff like that all over the place. There was one that like a former cop, had a bunch of like women's bodies in a mass grave, and it's just like, why? This is way more common than I thought. Like, I really thought like it would take me 5 to 10 minutes to research and find the specific article she was talking about, but it did not. And that's disturbing on so many levels. And I'm sorry that I couldn't find the specific article, but to be fair, she couldn't either. I definitely tried, but isn't it like weird how, I don't want to say common, but like, I mean, it's more common than I thought it would be. That's for sure. It's so weird to think about like what the mindset of people who do this stuff is. We kind of talked about it this episode, but like it can just vary so much from person to person too, and I think that's kind of what gets me. Is it's not like, all right, every single one is the same, right? They all are the same. It's like all generically similar attributes and whatnot. Like there's different things, there's different upbringings, there's different environments that they grew up in, and different things that they were exposed to as a kid, and obviously they have different MOs and whatnot. Like it's so crazy to me, and it's like it all can vary. Like some of them can have really great childhoods and just end up having something, I don't know what the word is, like wired wrong in their brain. I guess that's kind of a nice way to put it. I was trying to think of the nicest way to put it, and I feel like I didn't put that in a nice way. Or they could have grown up in a really bad environment with, not great parents, or even if it's not great, like if they were foster children, not great foster parents, anything like that. And it's just so weird to me how it varies. I mean, the human brain in general is just insane, that when you're a kid, how much it's like a sponge. The things we pick up when we're 5, 6, 7, like super young, that we don't even realize we're picking up. Like I was just on vacation recently with my dad, or my family, not just my dad. And I noticed like how similar him and his dad are, and which is obvious, which makes sense. And then I started to notice like some things about me that are really similar to my dad that I hadn't noticed before. And it's just like, I thought for a while that I was like just kind of, I'm not unique. I mean, everybody's unique in their own way, but like I was like, oh, I'm not like a ton like my family. Like I have little things here and there, but like I'm kind of, my own thing. No, definitely not. Like I have a lot of similarities to like my dad. Like my laugh, well, it depends on the laugh. My dolphin laugh is like nobody's. It just sounds like a dolphin. Which you did hear you heard the dolphin laugh this episode, by the way. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. When Nia's talking about, the creation versus evolution thing, you heard the dolphin laugh. So congrats to you guys, because my friends love to make fun of that laugh. But yeah, I think it's so funny, like how some people don't even realize how similar they are to their parents or to people around them. If you grew up with somebody, like whatever adult it is, a parent, grandparent, just a legal guardian, whatever, there's a good chance that you picked up a lot of traits and characteristics from them, whether or not you like it. And obviously in those negative situations where the parent or legal guardian was not great to you, you kind of have an uphill battle to break that habit and change. So like, hey, when I have kids, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be the complete opposite so that my kids can actually be happy and have a great life and whatnot. And I do know people like that, and it's super difficult to do. I don't really know what this tangent is about. I'm kind of just trying to fill some time, and it's really hard to fill time when I'm kind of just doing this off the top of my head. And I don't really want to take away too much from Nia, because she contributed a lot to the episode, and she had a lot of great things to say, and I wish that there would have been more of her in the episode, because I wish that the technology would have not failed us. And I hope that doesn't happen again. It really shouldn't. I'm just going to not record off of that laptop. I don't really know if that was the issue or if there was just something, a setting I needed to mess with or what. But from now on, I'm going to just work on doing it in my little spot. The goal is for me to get not get a studio, but like find a better place to film it, because right now I'm filming it in my house, and the way my house is set up, it's like a studio apartment. And so I'm basically filming it in my living room, which is right next to the bathroom, which is right next to my bed. So it's like it's all congested into one spot. So you might see me move around a couple times here or there on the video podcasts, because I'm trying to find a better spot or whatnot. But I am working on it. I'm looking into some stuff that I can do for a video, because it would just be so much nicer to like have an actual setup instead of having to, set it up every time I have somebody come over and have people cram into this small space of mine. But like I've said many times before, I don't expect this to be anything big. Like I don't expect to make money off of this, at least not a lot of money. I don't know if I even can make money from it right now, but this is something I care about. This is something I'm having fun doing. I was thinking to myself today, actually, like how I've put so much time and effort into this, and it's the most creative project I think I've ever done. I think that's about it from me. It's only been about 10 minutes of talking, but there's not a whole lot I can add to this episode, because a lot of the stuff that was really like good talking points was talked about in the lost footage. We did get some good conversation in here and there. But we didn't even really get into the nitty gritty of the horror movies or the serial killers or whatnot. We kind of just got on the surface of it before the footage ended, which sucks, because we were honestly like just getting the groove right around the time that the footage runs out. It usually takes about like 30 to 40 minutes for me to find a groove, or me and whoever I'm interviewing to find a groove. And then once you hit that groove, it goes so smoothly and time just flies. So again, I'm sorry about the lost footage. Once again, I want to thank Nia for coming on. She did great. The conversation was great. There were a lot of laughs, and I hope you guys enjoyed listening to her for the 35 minutes you got to listen to her for. She will be back on, I promise. She'll contribute a lot to this podcast, and her and I have a good back and forth, and we disagree on a lot of things in a funny way, not in a serious way. So it's really good. You guys can follow her Instagram down below. We did plug it when we actually originally recorded it, but obviously we lost that footage. So if you want to, you can follow her Instagram. It'll be in the link, wherever you're watching this or listening to actually you can't watch it because the video's gone. But wherever you're listening to it, there will be the link to that. You can also follow me on TikTok at Frivolous Pod. We upload about twice a week there. Mondays and Tuesdays is kind of like the sneak peek to the episode of that week. It shows like a funny moment or a funny topic that happens. Thursday, Friday, you will see me asking you guys for questions or topics, or if you guys need advice on anything, that will be the time where you can do it on the TikTok. You can just comment on that video, and then I'll obviously try to fit in what I can fit in. I might not be able to fit in everything. I don't expect a ton of comments. We only have like 10 followers right now, but which is totally okay. But yeah, if you guys have problems with anything, you can totally just comment there. Or if you have topic ideas that you think would be interesting for me or for me and my guests to talk about, then you can leave a comment there as well. Again, I want to thank you guys for your support. It's really been crazy. I've been hearing from tons of people, and that was just kind of why I'm mad that this episode is the way it is, because I want it to be really good quality, because I feel like a lot of people expect it to be better quality now, because, we're now 3 episodes in, and this is just kind of like, this to me feels like amateur hour. And it's just frustrating because I feel like it's my fault, even though it's not. But I'm obviously putting the blame on myself, because that's what we do as humans. But again, I still appreciate the support. You guys have been awesome. And next week's episode will be fine. It'll be good. And then the week after that, we're gonna have a guest on, and I'm really looking forward to it. I've got a couple guests lined up, and I'm ready for this. People said that the weekly episodes was an aggressive thing to do, and they're right, because obviously if I wasn't doing weekly, I could have fixed this one and re-recorded or something. But hey, you know what? We're rolling with the punches, and not everything's going to be perfect, and that's something that I need to accept, and that's something that we all need to accept with just life in general, right? So with all that being said, thank you for the support. Thank you for everything. We will see you guys in a week. Wishing you guys good mental health. See ya.